So Carlton,
Hello.
good afternoon. We're here today to talk about values.
Yes.
Would you like to talk about values?
Let's. I mean, for me, it was interesting because obviously I've worked with you on my values, and that process for me was something which I didn't go in with preconceived understandings. And I think one of the main things that people would ask is, well, how, because we have values around everything we do in our life, whether we agree with that or not. Every action we make subconsciously, in my opinion anyway, is attached to a certain form of value, or a certain check of that value. And from what I found is, it was when I asked you if we could do my values, it was at a stage in my business and in my life where I wanted to understand why I was making the decisions I was making. And because some of it didn't connect, because I do a lot of things on instinct, as you know, but some of the things I was actually doing when it came to instincts didn't make as much sense as I would like them to. Because it was like, okay, so I want to go this way, but my instincts are telling me go this way. Okay, why?
And those, absolutely. And I think where you were at the time was that you had a set of preconceived ideas about yourself and what you wanted to achieve. And for me, there was a little bit of haziness around what was driving you towards that, which is why we then started to talk about values. And I think you say that people, may or may not agree as to whether they've got them. I'd pair that back even further, that people don't know they've got them. They don't know what they are, what is a value. And, to put it really simply, a value is defined by how it makes you feel if it's in place. So you can have a value that towards value, so it can drive you towards doing something for gain, for benefit. Or you can have an away from value, and that drives you away from something that's made you feel uncomfortable. You will know when it's present, because if you're in a company, for example, and you're feeling not very good about somebody in that group, in that company, there will be something there that is clashing against your values. Now, they are deeply, deeply held beliefs. They're subconscious beliefs, if you will. So you're not really conscious of thinking about them. If you're in a group of people that you don't feel are particularly truthful, and honesty is one of your values, you will begin to feel uncomfortable. You will begin to feel maybe irritated, maybe angry. And you won't necessarily know why. You might just say, I don't like those people. I don't like what they stand for. So by defining that, you're then starting to get into your territory of values. What do you find acceptable? And you're absolutely right when you say that it will then lead to a belief, and that belief will lead to an action. So you will either go away from the people that made you feel uncomfortable, or you will speak out and try and change something about what they're saying or how they're acting. So once we find out what our values are, then we can start to actually get this balance in life, and you will start to understand what's pushing you on. In your situation, it was very, very business focused at the time, and you had a set of beliefs that were leading to actions based on the values that you didn't know you held. So that's where we started, wasn't it?
Yeah. And, I think for me, so many people ask me, why are you so business centric now? You need to take time off, etc., etc., etc. And for me, it was always something which I wanted to, and always wanted to say, okay, I'm going to spend this time to build what I know I can build and what I want to build. And then it was just a matter of working out how. And that's why it was very business centric, because at the moment, a lot of my life is business centric. But the thing is with values, once you understand them, and from my opinion, once you can articulate them, but also understand them wholeheartedly within yourself, you can make decisions that are going to make you happier, potentially. Now, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But once you understand your values, they won't necessarily change through the whole of your life overall. Like the core values, For example, my top one was family, and then love, and then control, and then freedom, or a form of freedom. And what they actually articulate will change. So what those definitions of that mean will change, but the actual values themselves will stay the same.
And they change, yes and no. Values are pretty contextual. So you're absolutely right in saying that, as you go on through life, your core value won't, if your core value is, I'll give you an example of one of my top values is honesty. Now, before, it was always be true to other people. I would always give you, if you gave me the wrong change, I'd correct you. I don't lie. I don't care for people that do. So yes, I am still intrinsically honest. However, in the past, my actions weren't being true to myself. So whilst I could say honesty is huge, the one person that I wasn't being honest with was myself. My actions weren't congruent with my voice, my value. I'm honest. And I think this is where some people get a little bit misled. Until you understand what they mean to you, they can just be words. We can be paying lip service to them. You will have corporate values. People say, we believe in X, Y, Z. I think John Lewis, isn't it? Never knowingly undersold. Well, I don't know what the heck that means. But, I don't think most of the people that work there know what that means, or the customers for that matter. But it's things they say. It forms strap lines. These are our values, our corporate values. But actually, what honesty means to me isn't necessarily what it would mean to you. And again, this goes back to having a different slant on something, a different understanding of it. So once I'd understood that honesty started with me, and it doesn't have to, but in my case, once I'd got my ducks in a row, so honesty first and foremost was about me. If I'm not being true to myself, then I'm not going to do something before I would do it. So you're smacking against one of your top values. So no wonder you're feeling less than happy. Happiness is subjective, I get that, but content, balanced, however you interpret that. And I think for you, being driven and making good use of time is of value to you. But I think the reasons behind that changed when you understood what that meant to you. Do you think that's fair in saying that? Yeah. You understood what that meant.
And I'm glad you kind of brought up the corporate value thing, because it's important to understand the difference between your values, which is what we did, and then the company values or the corporate values. Because funny enough, since that, I've also done a corporate version of the same thing with a brand specialist, right? But what I found was when I did both, because of the way I run the company and because of the way the company's designed, it's actually quite close. There's some disparities in respect to what the company's values are and my values are, but at core, it's the same. And I think what most business owners or people who are looking to go into business will find is, and why this is so important for people because when people think values, I think the misconception can be, I understand why I get up every day, I understand why I'm motivated, I get it. Why is that important to me, necessarily, or not necessarily? But I think for business people especially, it's very important to be in a position where you understand that the values you hold as an owner are going to be very, very close to your entire organization, and it will change, and it could change who you hire, who you bring in, who you work with, who your clients are, how you operate, what you do, and what you also expect from your clients to an extent, and vice versa. We'll use time as the example as you made as well. For me, I always ask myself, okay, well, why am I working with this person? Am I helping this person? Am I serving this client? Specifically, it might be you, it might be someone else, it might be whoever it may be. Am I serving them the best I can, personally? Okay, great. If I am, fantastic. Secondly, do they still hold the same morals, the same ideals, the same values as they did when we first started working together?